The mission at the Scrum Mother is to teach, inspire, and move towards purpose, power, and progress. And one of the ways that I live that out is to share world events and thoughts on important topics. Hopefully that will make the world a better place. Today's is going to be more of a trigger warning related to intimate partner abuse and intimate partner violence, IPA, IPV. So again, trigger warning before I continue. I've mentioned that I have a master's in conflict management from Kennesaw State University, and while I was there, I was a graduate research assistant working with Dr. Susan Rains on this research project, Safety, Satisfaction, and Settlement and Domestic Relations Mediations. And what it was, summary is the impact of domestic violence and domestic abuse on mediation. I have family members who are victims of intimate partner abuse and intimate partner violence. And the distinction specifically is violence is a very particular term, which does usually include physical harm, but abuse doesn't always mean that they ever touched you. It can include coercive, controlling behaviors, psychological, emotional abuse, and those are the parts that people don't always see, and that's usually how physical violence begins. Some of the key takeaways that I had from doing this research was that even children as early as 2 to 3 years old can be impacted lifelong by even being in the presence of any intimate partner abuse or intimate partner violence. Either they become a victim themselves or they become the abuser. In addition to that, it can be common in relationships to refer to each other by bitch or asshole, and people say that jokingly, but that is actually a form of intimate partner abuse as well. I have at least one aunt who was a victim of a gunshot by their spouse. I knew somebody else that a man said that they were going to kidnap a woman, take her out into the woods and cut her up into little pieces. And of course, the mass amount of children that are subject to different types of abuse by their parents. In Shreveport, Louisiana, recently there was a man that killed multiple of his children and injured 2 mothers. In my community last year, a man killed his wife, his 15-year-old daughter, and himself. And then just last week in my community, a man killed his wife. In this memoir, The Other Side of Yet, Michelle Horde talks about her experience where she was going through a divorce. They left the court room where the divorce was finalized, and her ex-spouse, went home and unalived their daughter. This is why just leave is not as easy as people want it to be. And in fact, separation and divorce tends to ignite more danger than to relieve it. Chances of death actually significantly increase. I've mentioned before that I am a promise leader with Sandy Hook Promise, and the goal is to prevent gun violence. And we got this email along the same time as the event in my local community that said that 6 members were killed when shootings took place at several locations in Muscatine, Iowa, and it was a relative. And this calling out that research shows that the majority of children who die in mass shootings are killed by their own family members in their own homes. They call out that hotter weather aggravates violent crimes, and during the summer, children also lose access to trusted adults that they have at school, like teachers and school counselors. They included a quiz that I'm going to go through now. It is true that every day the caring crisis counselors receive at least one tip related to intimate partner violence from concerned students. I also want to call out here that the incident that just happened in my community, they have 3 children, and at least one of the children is who called the police. There is a dangerous intersection between high rates of intimate partner violence and gun violence against teens. Firearms are the leading cause of death for children and teens, and former intimate partners have been the targets in several school shootings. Most children who die in mass shootings are killed by a family member. And here they are calling out the incident in Shreveport, Louisiana, where a man killed 8 children and he was the father of 7 of them. And he injured 2 of the mothers. These are all warning signs of domestic and dating violence. Making any attack or threat, whether physical, verbal, or on social media, acting possessive or jealous, displaying controlling behavior such as keeping a partner away from friends or telling them what to do or wear or what to wear, and cyber stalking or snooping on a partner's phone. These are all ways that you can help. Call 911 if you believe there is immediate danger. Tell a trusted adult and get help if you're a minor. Share the signs with your loved ones, students, and classmates. Call a domestic violence hotline, such as the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 800-799-7233, or submit a tip if you have access to an anonymous reporting system. It is false that there is nothing that lawmakers can do to prevent domestic and dating violence. Federal law already prevents people convicted of certain domestic violence offenses and those under domestic violence restraining orders from having guns. But in many states, there is no follow-up to make sure the guns have been removed. And there's already bipartisan support like background checks and temporary transfer orders. Sandy Hook Promise has a strong focus on preventing gun violence against children, although they care about everybody. But why this topic matters is that people don't think of children under the age of 18 being an intimate partner violence or intimate partner abuse situation. But it's very important that even teenagers recognize the signs of when they are in an unhealthy or toxic relationship. If you or someone you know is in a relationship with someone that has had any form of an anger management problem, whether sober or while intoxicated, has had any level of being controlling or coercive, or even threatens to harm themselves, please take all of that serious. It is the number one reason that when someone tells me actually that they are getting separated or divorced, I say, are you safe? Because the reality is you just don't know what somebody is capable of, especially since getting separated and divorce actually increases likeliness that those harmful behaviors will be exhibited. And if you don't know where to start, you don't have a counselor, you don't have a trusted confidant, please reach out to me and in a DM, and I promise you that I will help you find the resources near you.